Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into this video on the Zenwara channel. So today we're going to look at a painting I did. This is a Bara painting. So Bara is a collection of drawings and paintings that I've done that tell a story, basically. So this is the first painting that I did, a Bara painting. So we're going to talk a little bit about the story here and the composition of a Bara painting. So when we look at here, Bara, well, who is Bara? Well, Bara is basically a god that was worshipped by the ancestors of humanity at Kailash Mountain. Okay, so Bara is actually Shiva Baram, okay, also called Shiva, okay. And Bara is the mark on Kailash Mountain, at the base of Kailash Mountain on the north side in the center, right where the indentation that goes to the top, which is the Vaitarani River, goes and intersects with Bara. And that is also where you can see on that side of Kailash Mountain also the Damaru of Shiva, right? The Siva Bharavam, and its center, so the intersection point of the two, the middle of the Damaru is the Baraka Siva, right, where the infinity sign is, right? So what you see here is, you see in blue here, you see the Damaru of Shiva, right? And the Om, basically the O represents the maintenance of creation, and the M is the operating meter, the Om, which basically allows Bara to play on creation in the sense where he seeks to make it more efficient and better by developing himself to be able to have creation work even better for even greater things and greater possibilities. So what we see here essentially is we see Bara, right? And you can see the shape of the head that you can actually see on the north side of the mountain. If you look at Kailash Mountain and the pictures that you can see pictures for that, for example, if you search on Google. And what you see here essentially is you see the paint on his face, which was painted by our ancestors on special occasions. And then the last one that was painted was the red dot right in the middle of his forehead, right? And that's where that started. Our ancestors back in the day, the red dot that was painted on Bara, and that was painted before the infinity symbol was painted on the Damaru. That was always painted before, because Bara basically maintains that Damaru, so it was important that the paint on Bara's face was put before the paint on the Damaru, or the drum, or the hourglass of creation, right? So what we see here is you see the tears falling from the eyes of Bara into Brahman, right? And Brahman basically is an experience that we can experience, right, through practice, right? And then you see basically a silvery pool of water and the drop that falls inside, and that is the drop of intention, the drop of movement, of change. And as the descent of an avatar comes, the movement, the descent of the knowledge of God, which with it changes everything in the levels in which it descends, right? So that is the movement of the drop, which moves in all directions and all levels of Brahman, right? The ripple of the drop in Brahman, which changes and reprograms the creation with the new intent that comes with it from above, right? So what we see here is we see some truths of creation. We see, for example, some people here, at different stages of development on this. And we see basically some different texts, right, that you can see. What we see also is we see Kailash Mountain. So we see all the Vaitarani River in orange there, going up to the top of the mountain, to the middle of the mountain, into the Damaru of Shiva. And we've talked about that on other videos, right? So this gives you an idea a little bit. And then at the top of the mountain, we have Adira, right? Rawa Adira, the judge, right? Raphael, the avatar, right? Who brings Judgment Day, right? And we have Kailash Mountain there, and you can see on Kailash Mountain different gods that are visible on the mountain. And then beside Adira, there in red there, what we have there is we have the field, the vibrationary field of enlightenment and creation, which governs all from above, right? That he influences on and governs, right? As an enlightened one, that also exists on the chain of infinity, right? As a Shri. So what we see here is we see different things. And then when you look at the symbols here in Bara, you see there's different symbols, right? What you can see there is you can see the different symbols here that can help you understand things better if you meditate on these symbols. And then you have the enlightened heart of Shiva Baram there. The symbol that became enlightened for Shiva Baram, one of the two symbols, the pink one, the heart, and you have knowledge about the name of Shiva, for example, Siva, sentient intelligent vehicle activity, Siva, if go, right? Jesus, I knew, Yahweh, the good way, Buddha way, Allah, to there, the goal, you know, to learn, to practice, right? That creation is called carparivum, right? You exist in your vehicle as a sentient, intelligent vehicle that takes activity, and you're always in danger of falling off the caravan of God, the caravan of eternal life, right? You have to stay good through your phases of your life here until you get to your final stage after you passed all your judgments and you've been granted essentially your security clearance, if you want to call it that way, to go to paradise, right? Or to work at the levels of enlightenment. So here you see a Bara, a Bara painting. A few of these exist, and they all have different things up on them. So what you see here is you see Bara, right? Bara, which is the first, the golden cat, if you want, the golden god at the bottom here, which is Shiva, right? And then that was the first form that was worshipped, the first god that was worshipped on Kailash mountain by our ancestors. And then they would paint his face at the solstice, for example, right? And then what you see here above the red head is Baram. As civilization changed and grew more complex, more things happened, grew. The first civilizations, they changed their conception of God and they added that other head, that second head. And then there's also the third head of Savakasi, which you can't see on this drawing here, which is the scarier head of the Trimurti of God, of creation, of the creator. And the story is basically, and a lot of people were concerned about this story, right? The story of when Bara, right, would go up the Vaitarani River all the way up to the top and become Shiva at the top of the mountain, right? It's the story of Bara becomes Shiva Baram and then comes back down, and then everybody was scared that would crack creation, crack the earth, right, and all that stuff, the coming back down. But don't put it beyond a god to foresee these things and to take care of what needs to be done so that the creation that he created will be maintained, right? So we don't have to worry about these things. What we also see here is Vishnu explained, Vinu, naked sight, full sight, all pervading, right? What that means, and Bara, right? Ra from the bottom, right? And then we have some words of God too, so we'll read some of these here. Bara bara kasham balibu baharat kadat kalvi kembedim rawa kalava shardakam shalvim bardat kaladam wasimdam shadim. So the Baras always have these words, right? These words of God, these mantras of God that are within them, right? So that's how they're built. So very similar build to most of the Baras. That's basically similar to how the Baras are built as kshetrams, right? So I create these paintings as kshetrams, right? As murtis and kshetrams in that sense, so that they can transform whoever has the fortune to encounter one, right? So far we've got about I've got about over 60 Bara drawings and 4 of these paintings as well, right? So the Baras are multiplying, so that's great, But I wanted to share this today to kind of show you, something that can be informative to see, and hopefully you appreciate the element of art and that's in there as well. Art that is important in the sense that it carries an important message, right, about creation. So here you can see that, So thanks for listening.